Let's explore the most interesting rivalry in all of college football. I say interesting because Oklahoma and USC, they don't play each other. You think about great rivalries, you think about Ohio State, Michigan, you think about Auburn, Alabama, and I understand these teams have their rivals. I understand OU plays Texas and USC plays Notre Dame and UCLA. Like, I get all that. But do not get it twisted. These teams, there is very much so real USDA-approved sirloin grass-fed beef. And it's personal. And let's start from the top. It's personal because of the way that Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma. And I want to make sure I say this. Not that he left Oklahoma. The way he left Oklahoma is what left people feeling a little bit slighted. Let's rewind the tape. Bedlam. Oklahoma plays Oklahoma State. Oklahoma loses at the end of the game. Close game. Post game, there's a ton of smoke around Lincoln Riley taking the job for LSU. Tons of smoke, and everyone's wanting to ask that question. Finally, somebody asked Lincoln Riley that question, and Lincoln Riley looks dead in the camera and says, "I am not taking the LSU job." Essentially what he said. Fast forward the tape, what, 36 hours? 48 hours, maybe less than that? And Lincoln Riley is announced as the next head coach at USC. We understand why this is frustrating. Oklahoma fans were very much so led to believe that Lincoln Riley wasn't about to leave OU, and then he did. Now, there's two sides of this. One side is for Lincoln Riley, you do what's best for you, right? Like, at the end of the day, you have your own family to support, your own career, and you do what's best for you, and USC offered him a pretty sweet deal. For Oklahoma, you're saying, well, why did you handle it that way? And what is he supposed to say post-game, to be honest with you? Like, I'm not here to really pick sides. What are you supposed to say? The reason why it felt frustrating was because every inclination was he wasn't going to leave, and then he did. To make matters worse, the feeling is that he took a lot of their top talent, took Mario Williams with him, took Caleb Williams with him, who was the future of Oklahoma's program. And so it was, okay, you left, making us think you're going to stay, took a lot of our guys with you, and kind of just left us hanging without much notice. So that's why it's frustrating. That's why it's personal. To make things even worse than I already said they were, you left for LA. You left for the palm trees. You left for USC. I have more thoughts on this in that same vein, but if you have not yet subscribed, would love to have you all a part of this. Would love to have you all a part of this college football community. Also, follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at JDPakel. Feel free to hit me in the comments in this video and just let me know your thoughts on this rivalry. Feelings, concerns, objections, those are always welcome. We'll see y'all in the comment section. But again, you left for LA, which is why it feels a little bit more sour for the good people in Norman. And here's why. Oklahoma, from a broad strokes perspective, is blue collar, is hardworking, is hard hat and lunch pail kind of operation. Like, that's how they get down in Norman. Now at USC in LA, it is Hollywood, it is movie stars, it is palm trees, it is 75 and sunny year round. It is, to use lack of a better term, white collar. Now, again, this is very broad. I'm generalizing here, but that's why it's frustrating for Oklahoma. They're saying, well, you just left us for the prettier girl after you had made us believe you were going to stay, that you weren't leaving us for that girl, but you left for the other girl. Like, come on now. What's going on here? She's everything that we don't like. And the frustration for USC fans is like, yeah, of course you don't like us. We took your head coach and we took your quarterback. We get it. Like, we understand. That's why you don't like us. Oklahoma fans are saying, no. We don't dislike you because you took Lincoln Riley and you took Caleb Williams. We dislike you because of what you stand for. Everything that is essentially the anti-Oklahoma is what USC is. Again, this is in the eyes of Oklahoma fans. So that's why there's the disconnect. The way that they both do things is just straight up different, polar opposites. And so for a head coach to leave the way he did and to leave for the program he did, that breeds some resentment. It is gasoline on a fire that was already very much so, I would say, had the potential to be stoked if you just look at the way that these two programs are set up. Now, there wouldn't have been beef without the Lincoln Riley bridge, but that's why there's frustration. That's why there is the rivalry there. That's why that exists. Now, this is a rivalry, like I said, and they're not playing each other, so I guess it's a rivalry from a fan base standpoint. But here's what I'm here to say. I think this ended up working out with everybody. Like, I think this is a win-win. If you're a win-win-win, if you're Michael Scott and big fan of The Office. Oklahoma, fans will say it now, they weren't a fan of Lincoln Riley. They weren't the fan, or they weren't a fan of the way that he did things. They felt like his approach, his culture, what he was about, they feel like, in hindsight's 2020, they feel like that's not how they want to have a football team. That's not how they want to play their style of game. USC fans, you get the high-flying offense, you get the scoreboard that matches the way that LA is in terms of flashy bright lights, fun highlight reels. You got the quarterback that's exciting to go with the movie script that will eventually be written, I imagine, around Caleb Williams, and you got Hollywood right there. Like, you hear what I'm saying? USC as a football team and Lincoln Riley as a coach and LA as a city, they all mix together really well with the kind of brand they're putting on the field now, the kind of product they're putting on the field now. Oklahoma, you got someone who fits better for you too. You have a guy who is blue collar. He gets Oklahoma. You're going to play tough defense in the future. You're going to build in the trenches. You're going to play complementary football. You're going to have your brand of football that you have always wanted to have. And so the messiness of it is why we have this rivalry. The back and forth is why it's fun and why we love college football, to be honest with you. But I think both teams get out of this with what's better for them after all the dust settles. So USC and Oklahoma, if we could settle this on the field at some point in the near future, I would love that. Selfishly, I would love to see USC and OU go at it in an expanded playoff. I'm just saying the storylines write themselves. So I'm not here to pick a side. Again, I understand both sides of this. Lincoln Riley got to do what's best for you. Oklahoma fans, you feel like that wasn't the way that you have handled things. It wasn't the way that you had wanted things to be handled. But nonetheless, like I said, I think everybody gets out of this with what they wanted. Okay? Make sure you're subscribed. This has been The Hard Count. We appreciate y'all rocking with us, man. This is the people's show. Nick Brake lifting heavy. And y'all are making this whole operation go. So we thank you for that. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram at Jody Piquel. But we're going to keep the party rolling. And we will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.